Yo, what's good, boys? It is Yap MMA. We're back with another video today. We're gonna be talking about the upcoming matchup this weekend for UFC Mexico. Steve Erceg versus Brandon Moreno. Steve Erceg, man, is on a two-fight losing streak. He might be having the next Dominic Reyes downfall of the UFC, man. Going from title contention just about a year ago, not even a full year ago, to now being on a two-fight losing streak, fighting Brandon Moreno, former flyweight champ and number two contender in the world for his third loss in a row if he loses this fight, and he will be on a downward spiral going from that championship, going from that shot at the title where he was just super close to pulling off the victory, where he was just a round off. You could consider he was a round off of beating Alessandro Pantoja. If he hadn't shot that takedown on Pantoja, we could be seeing a different outcome. We could be seeing, Erceg as champ. I don't think he would have been given the decision either way, honestly. They were in Brazil. I think they were going to give it to Pantoja. They just needed Erceg on short notice. But this dude, man, this dude has only had a total of 5 UFC fights in his UFC career so far. He was given a ranked opponent in his first fight, started showing out, got a 3-fight win streak. They boosted him to the title shot because they needed somebody to fight Pantoja, somebody fresh blood. He lost to Pantoja, just like Dominic Reyes lost to John Jones. It was a very close, razor sharp decision. I would say the Reyes and Jones fight was closer, but this was a super close fight. Erceg almost pulled off the victory over Pantoja, had him injured in moments, could have finished him maybe. And I mean, Pantoja's chin is insane, but still, Steve Erceg did amazing for his fourth fight in the UFC against the pound for pound, number one flyweight in the world, the champion of the flyweight division. He did really well. He did really well. So going into the fight with Kai Kara France, he was a massive favorite. Everybody was picking Steve Erceg. I picked Steve Erceg. Everybody thought Steve Erceg was going to win, fair and square. And he goes out there, he fights Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France, goes in, crashes in with a right hook, step over with the left hook, drops Steve Erceg, and finishes him on the ground brutally, excuse me. Brutal KO by Kai Kara France over Steve Erceg. And it just looks like Erceg is being fed to the wolves again and again and again, fighting Pantoja, fighting Kai Kara France, and now fighting Brandon Moreno. That is 3 top 5 opponents in 1 year. Not even a full year. 1 year. 3 top 5 opponents, some of the best flyweights in the entire division. I mean, Pantoja, champion, Brandon Moreno, ex-champion, Kai Kara France fought for the title and will probably get a title shot off of this Steve Erceg win, man. We're not trying to turn Steve Erceg into a guy where you beat him and you get another title shot, because there's a high chance that Brandon Moreno as well, if he beats Erceg, he'll be on a 2-fight win streak and he'll probably get a shot at the title against Pantoja or against Kai Kara France, whichever the winner of their fight is, because Kai Kara France is probably going to get a title shot off of beating Steve Erceg in August, man. As sad as it is to say, we're not trying to turn Steve Erceg into you beat Erceg and boom, there's your title shot. Kind of like beating Michael Chandler and boom, there's your title shot kind of thing, man. We're not trying to see that, okay? We're not trying to see a 1-win streak or you beat Steve Erceg and there you go, you deserve a title, because this dude has 5 fights in the UFC. Don't get me wrong, he's very good, but the UFC rushed him very fast. I mean, he got a ranked opponent right off the bat. He flourished. He did well. Beat Dvorak and then beat Costa pretty fairly. And of course, everybody's flatlined Matt Schnell. So of course, he added to that highlight reel of Matt Schnell getting KO'd. He KO'd him brutally. Good win though, still. And then he gets his title shot, and then he fights Kai Kara France, and now he's fighting Moreno this weekend, where it's just, all odds are against him. I want Steve Erceg to win. I want Steve Erceg to have a good career, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all. This is a perfect depiction, excuse me, of John Jones versus Dominic Reyes and Dominic Reyes' downfall. I mean, what happened? He had a very close decision with John Jones as champ, and then got knocked out, and then got knocked out, and then got knocked out. Do you know what I mean? He had just 4-fight losing streak. Now he's back. It's great, but he lost those prime years. He lost that chance to be one of the greats because he lost that decision to John Jones. And this was the same thing. Erceg was really close to beating Pantoja, lost that decision, was crushed, got knocked out by Kai Kara France. And if, the storyline and the tale of the tape plays itself right, man, if what is going to happen, what I believe is going to happen happens, Steve Erceg will get knocked out by Brandon Moreno. If it's the same thing as Dominic Reyes' career, if Erceg's career is looking the same as Reyes' career, I do believe there's a chance that Erceg could get knocked out by Brandon Moreno. He's just not ready, for this level of competition. It's not that he's not ready and not prepped. He can be prepped, but he's been rushed. He's been rushed into it, and he's completely lost the momentum. Once a train stops, man, it's hard to get it running again. And that's the exact case here where Erceg got his train completely halted by Pantoja, was super, super crushed after losing that fight. He does not take losing very well. I will be honest. Erceg does not take losing well. Loses to Pantoja, is crushed, goes into the Kai Kara France fight not fully prepped, not feeling his best, and gets KO'd in the first round. Now he's fighting former champ and an absolute dog in Brandon Moreno, who just shut down Amir Albazi. I don't see a path of victory for Steve Erceg, where he's just being fed into. Being fed to the wolf's den, man. It doesn't make sense. I understand the UFC is desperate. The UFC is very desperate for another Australian champion, another Australian top 5 contender. So they want Erceg to win. They're gonna keep giving Erceg these matchups like Michael Chandler. They want Michael Chandler to win, so they keep giving him top 5 opponents. Finally, he's fighting down, but it took him to be 2-4 in the UFC for them to finally give him a top 10 opponent, not even a top 10, top 15 opponent still. But Erceg is going to be the same thing. He's going to be the same lamb that they're giving to the wolves, man. He's just being fed to the wolves. I understand why the UFC wants him to win, but they can't keep feeding him to dudes that are literally the top of the division. He needs to get another win to be able to deserve getting another top guy or getting another title shot, because Erceg, if he loses to Moreno, he's going to be on a 3-fight skid. And what's he going to do from there? He's going to be one of those guys where people are going to beat him to get into the top 10. They're going to beat him, and then boom, there's their title shot. So we don't want that. Nobody wants that. Obviously, this Moreno matchup is just bad matchmaking. It's bad matchmaking. Flyweight has been matchmaked poorly recently. Steve Erceg should have been the one fighting Asu Almabayev. Manel Kape should be the one fighting Brandon Moreno this weekend. It just didn't make sense. Manel Kape pieced up Asu Almabayev. Steve Erceg is probably going to get pieced up by Moreno, and then you're just leaving the scraps of these prospects at flyweight. You're leaving Erceg and Asu Almabayev, these prospects. They're done. They got beat by I'm not going to say the old guys, but the more vet fighters, the more OG fighters, if you want to say that, if you want to call them that. But I think the matchmaking is poor here. I think Brandon Moreno is going to piece up Steve Erceg, and I think Steve Erceg is looking like he's going to have the same career as Dominic Reyes. Honestly, if he loses to Brandon Moreno, it'll be the same way. I think he could get knocked out. He could get finished. Steve Erceg, when he has if he has a fight, the perfect fight for Steve Erceg is to have it nice and clean, and he's able to strike a distance. He's able to depict where the fight goes. He's able to push the pace when he wants, keep it in the center of the octagon, decide where he takes the fight. But if you got somebody, a dog like Pantoja, a dog like Kai Kara France, a dog like Brandon Moreno, they like to make the fight dirty. They like to make it bloody and a mess and just uncomfortable for you. And Brandon Moreno is the best at that. Out of the 3 guys I mentioned, Brandon Moreno is the biggest dog. This guy will make it uncomfortable. He will make it so it's hell for you for 25 minutes. He made it that Amir Albazi just didn't have anything going. He got outstriked, outpieced. When it did go to the ground, Brandon Moreno was there the whole time, moving nonstop. His cardio is great. He's ready. He's prepped. I just don't see Erceg having that success that he had against Snell and Costa and Dvorak, man. He even had that success against Pantoja. But I don't think he's going to have that success against Brandon Moreno. I think Moreno is still there. He's still at the top, man. And he's still that experienced vet who is going to bring it to you every single fight. So I am worried that Steve Erceg is going to have the same career as Dominic Reyes, man. We're going to see what happens this weekend, but I am going to be going with Brandon Moreno to find a finish over Steve Erceg. If the storyline matches up, if the career matches up with Dominic Reyes, Erceg is going to get knocked out this fight. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but his career is looking the exact same as Dominic Reyes right now. And if he keeps getting fed to the wolves, he's gonna keep losing. And as soon as we know it, man, he's gonna be out of the rankings. So I hope that's not the case, but I want to hear what you guys got to say about it. So drop it down in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you guys think Erceg's being pushed too far? He should fight down the rankings, or do you think he deserves this, man? I don't think he deserves this. I don't think he should be getting fed to the wolves, but it is what it is. It's the UFC. Their matchmaking is not always the best, but if you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.